so squeaky. I'm like trying to sit in one spot.
All right, we are live, and I am so excited because it's another Thursday. And I say this every week, but Thursdays get here so fast, and I always look forward to Thursday nights. For anyone who doesn't know me, my name is Brittany Bateman, aka Brittany Brainstorm, and I am the creative director of Brainstorm Boutique. We are a design studio that does branding, web design, and brainstorm intensives and confidence coaching for small businesses with big dreams. I have my talented sister Casey with me tonight. She's also a designer. However, she is also a confidence coach. And Casey has developed a whole toolkit of helping business owners show up with confidence in their business and in their personal and professional lives. So if you want to know more about Casey, we have a live stream just all about that. So make sure you go check that out on YouTube or on Facebook. However, that was a lot. That was a longer intro than I normally say, but it's not about us tonight. We have our good friend Taylor Corbitt with us tonight, and she is the owner of Places and Pines. So Taylor, I'm going to let you introduce yourself.
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm so glad that Brittany invited me to come talk. I love to chat with other creatives. It's going to be a great time. I graduated here in 2018 from SIU, so I'm a graphic designer.
Yes.
I also own a business called Places and Pine. I started around last May, but really didn't get kicked off until the end of July, August. So I've been in business for about a year now.
Wow, good for you. Happy birthday.
Thanks. I was a full-time freelancer before that. So was kind of like Brittany, worked a lot on, branding businesses and helping other small businesses, elevate their game a little bit. And then I kind of I got married in 2019 and I fell into doing a lot of weddings, and that kind of kicked off Places and Pines. So now I'm here. I brand weddings and birthday parties, all kinds of events around the area and other states and stuff. It's been really fun.
Cool.
Wow. Okay, so obviously big connection. We're both from the communication design program at SIU.
Yep.
And although I did graduate a longer time ago than you did, but that's okay. I'm curious, how did learning design bring you to where you are today? Like, obviously, when you go into design, there's just so many possibilities.
Oh, yeah.
And, what was that journey like for you?
Kind of crazy. And I'm still figuring it out, to be honest. I think being creative is like a double-edged sword sometimes. You don't know. One day you know what you're doing, the next day you're like, what? But it's honestly, I think since graduating SIU, I've found my niche a little bit more than when I started out. When you graduate, like those that don't know, graphic designers, a lot of time very successful designers will go straight and work for an agency, someone like that works for an ad firm or something big. So I think a lot of times people measure success with making it big, and I definitely did in my mind. So taking that different route kind of set me on a weird path that just tumbled into this, and I'm really grateful for that. It's been a journey, but we're still going.
That is so true. Okay. When I graduated, like, my path was not like typical. It was kind of like a zig and a zag and a zig and a zag, and I'm so grateful for it because I learned so many other things that brought me to where I am today. However, I had to share this story with you. So whenever we had our very first design days at SIU, like, I was a student then when the very first design days happened.
Awesome.
And I remember, it was really cool. And I remember this one gentleman was there, and he had he had an agency in the city. And I remember him saying to everyone, like, oh, well, I just started my own agency basically like right out of college, but that's not the way you're supposed to do it. I would not recommend anyone doing it that way. Like, you need to go start an agency and work your way up. And that for some reason, like, really messed with my head
Yeah.
because I was listening to, like, his experience rather than thinking that, "Oh, it doesn't really matter what his experience looks like. I can still create my own experience."
Yeah.
And I always find those conversations kind of dangerous whenever someone who's a little, experienced or far along in their design path, basically telling young people straight up, like, oh, that's not how you're supposed to do it, or this is how you're supposed to do it.
Hmm.
Because then it kind of puts that fear in you that you're not going to turn out successful because you didn't go this route, which was crazy because he was successful.
Yeah.
Sounds
He's
to me,
telling you not to do what he did. Yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
because he doesn't want any competition because he knows that the true competition is going to come from young talent.
Right, exactly.
Young talent's your biggest
Yeah.
competition when you're an old agency dude.
Absolutely.
It
Absolutely.
really is. So it's like, sounds like you're a really good recruiter.
Yeah.
In
A lot
terms-
of people too, like, I think especially when you're young, like I don't know, I still drill it into my head some days, like, you're on the right path. Everybody figures
Mhm.
out their style, their things that they're supposed to be doing. And, when you're like fresh out of school and you're so malleable like that, when someone gives you advice, you're just like, I have to do this now.
Yeah.
And there's so much
Yes.
pressure to hold on yourself that, teachers in school, like the really good ones, would never give you straight advice. And I get it now because
Yeah.
it
Mhm.
protects you from that pressure, which is
Yeah.
really looking back.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
and also depending on how much real world experience the instructor actually had,
Right.
maybe they don't know.
True. That's
Like,
very
you
true
can
also.
genuinely not know the best path to like
Right.
30-year career in graphic design, considering they probably don't share that same interest. They
Right.
would rather teach
Yeah.
it.
Right. Yep. It
That's
is
interesting.
it is such a, which we'll get into this too, but it's just such a competitive field.
Yeah.
And people, I think it's getting better over the last
Mm.
like 5 years or so, but it's just a field where, I mean, it used to be so cutthroat. Like no one's sharing secrets. No one is
Yes.
telling you how they made it. They're just, no one's offering that hand to help someone up. And I
Mhm.
never understood that part of design at all. So
Yeah. Well, because, for me, like my classmates, they were my friends and we always had so much fun like
yes,
together in class. But then I could tell like once, we graduated or something like that, like sometimes there was a shift
yeah,
in those personalities or that friendliness or that helpfulness.
yeah.
Which, luckily I do have some friends that are still very close to this day from the program, which I'm very thankful for. So you graduated and what did you do? You said you did freelancing full time. Like, how
Yeah.
did that work for you?
It was great. It was a lot of learning, which the business is a lot of learning too, but it's a different kind. You're kind of more, you're like 10% work, 90% everything else, as a
Yeah.
business owner. But as a freelancer, you're strictly, I mean, design for the most part, other than contracts and getting paid and whatever. But for the most part, you're consulting, and that's the part I do miss that a little bit. It was nice to be able to like fully form a vision for someone who necessarily like didn't have one at first. That was the best part. But I think it started out right when I graduated. I got a couple of gigs locally here. And then over the years, I just kind of built on that. And then when I started Places in Pine, I backed off again a little bit. So the flexibility of being a freelancer was amazing. I loved it.
Yeah.
Loved that. For sure. Loved that.
Flexibility is nice,
Yeah.
because I mean that's just not how most things go. People don't.
Right.
I see people don't, but like the general, public don't realize how much work goes into having your own business
Yeah.
and how little free time you end up having because you have a business.
Absolutely.
And it's great, and then it's also a challenge
Yeah.
at times for sure. 'Cause it's like I don't know how many times, especially when you're growing your business, you're like, no, I can't, no, I can't, no, I can't, because other things just aren't a priority at that time.
Right. So much imposter syndrome going on.
Yeah.
Like, you're like, oh, this is what I'm doing. People are paying me this. I don't know if that's right. But yeah, over time you kind of just I tell people this is terrible. I tell people fake it till you make it. You know, you're just kind of when you're starting out and you don't, you know, necessarily you haven't done that particular job before, or I once had a brand for a startup company that did like a it was a seasonings kind of grill brand,
Oh,
very
cool.
masculine thing, and that was not necessarily my style at the time, and I'm just like, okay, we're rolling with it. You have to learn how to kind of adapt, and you'll grow your portfolio and you'll grow your experience from it. I think that's great. So, you know, you just got to go with it.
Yeah, I think too, like peppering in different clientele kind of helps you strengthen like the kind of clients that you want to work for when you can get to the point where you are turning down work a little bit more, you know what I mean? Which you probably are at now, you know, but like letting that happen and just like being like, okay, like I will go ahead and try these people. They really believe in me for some reason. They're like, you know, muscle milk company, whatever. You'll figure it out, honey.
You know, just the experience alone of talking to people in the beginning, really selling your work and why they need you. Just that experience alone is great in the beginning.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
that's it. That is such a huge part of it, is selling yourself. But that goes across all businesses, you know? I think that's what's interesting when we do like branding work, especially, is okay, but it doesn't just stop with you having a logo. It doesn't just stop with you having a website. Now you have to do all these other things to show up, to keep presenting yourself, and bring people to your platforms to view your work and connect with you. You know, like the marketing aspect is so important too. And I find that sometimes as designers, you do end up, you know, doing a lot of marketing consulting and marketing advice for other people, and letting them know like, okay, I made this for you, but now you need to do things with it. You know, it's not like, oh, I did it, now I'm done, people are going to come. Like, that's not how it works. There's a lot of work that goes into it after we get those things done.
Yes.
I always think about Field of Dreams when people get their logo. I just imagine like then like, you know, like Shoeless Joe coming in, his ghost buying products, and like Dave Ruth coming in and buying products, and then like, if you build it, they will come. They will come.
Yeah, no, you're right though. It is true. I mean, and that's something, I mean, I still struggle with time and stuff. You know, occasionally the fall season is so busy every year. And right before
for you especially.
Christmas, like, you know, you finally get through the fall season and then people are ordering Christmas gifts, and that's a whole nother ball game. And so it is so important, even in those busy moments, to have stuff to keep promoting yourself, to keep putting your name out there. And it is something I want to get better at. Honestly, it's on one of my goal lists. But
actually, I'm going to totally shamelessly plug myself for a moment here.
Do it.
Not to you, but just in general. My ultimate holiday marketing brainstorm guide is available for anyone who is feeling the overwhelm of the holiday season. Get it. There's a discount code, holiday, $50 off. Totally worth it. It's an excellent intro price point to, you know, having guidance along that way. Anyways, shameless plug. You set me up perfect for that, and I did not ask you to do that.
We're at less than a month to Black Friday, everyone. It is 29 days. If there could be like a red siren going off.
Be a good early Christmas gift for someone you know that's a business owner.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, and let me add, this is a tax deduction because it's part of your advertising and marketing strategy. So just saying, these are tax deductible dollars, people.
Anyway, thinks of everything.
I digress.
Also, to plug another thing, your content calendars that you come out with, those are amazing. I take a peek at those every once in a while to try to.
Oh my gosh!
if you're just stuck on, it's so good to have, like I said, back to the creative friends thing, to spitball stuff off and, try to
Yes.
find a new idea. You're just giving those out for, just to help other people. I think it's great. You guys should check those out.
Now, I will add a disclaimer that I had to put a pause on those for a couple of months, but I'm hoping to start that back up in 2022. So it's those
They're amazing.
are actually a lot of work, but they're
I
they're just so much fun.
I can imagine
I love doing stuff
They're
like that,
amazing.
But so let me get back to you, Taylor. So you're doing this freelance work, and then you get married. And you're like, hey, I really love the invitation stationery side of things. Or like, where did that shift happen for you?
Well, so in school, I have always been more, so those of you that don't know, in design, there's really two sides of design. I mean, there's tons of sides, but two main ones. You either go print design or you go digital, like you go UX, you're a website maker, you're all kinds of stuff. But I have always been more attracted to print design, like just throughout school. And then after I graduated, I was heavily into print design. And so when I started working on my own wedding stationery, I was like, man, this is just so fun. And I had a couple
on your own.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
I love that.
Story. I love this story.
Yeah. So I started doing that. And then after I got married, there's this girl, Leslie, if you're watching, she's amazing. She came in and she bought all of my stuff I made. Like, she's like, Taylor, your wedding is amazing. I love it so much. And then after, she started texting me and was like, can you make me this? Can you design me this? And I'm like,
oh my
okay,
gosh.
I think that there's something here. So I started doing that. I got through a couple clients, got through a couple friends. And then after that, I just was doing it like more and more, finding myself, getting into weddings just by word of mouth more and more.
Aww.
And then weddings turned into, those people were coming back for bridal showers and baby showers. And it just snowballed and it was awesome.
And then Christmas cards.
Yeah. I was like rushing. I think this is terrible. Like, as a brander, I think I picked my name and like branded my entire business in like 3 days because I was panicking because I'm like, okay, this is going somewhere. I had Courtney Page from Boulder Creek Photography. If Courtney's watching, she had
we love Courtney.
Yes, she was a huge push for me. She's just like, Taylor, you got to get your stuff out there. If you're going to do this, do it. And I'm like, all right, Courtney, we're doing it.
I love that.
So I threw my logo at her. She printed it in her bridal guide for 2020, I think. And, from that, just through local connections and stuff, it kind of fully started the business. So
that's cute.
Wow.
So Places in Pine, where did you come up with that? Because I think it's super, super cute. And now that I know that it was like a rush job, I'm like, well, how'd you do that?
I love it.
So, in school, Brittany, I know they teach you like kind of tips and tricks on picking names and stuff. And one of them is just to sit down and write out like everything that you love, everything that you think describes your business and what you like and what you don't like and stuff like that. And so I had a pretty hefty list going. And one of my favorite things to do is to travel. So I like to go places. And I also have been doing like craft fairs and things like that since I was 15. So I used to do woodworking and stuff before I started Places in Pine. And I kind of, worked with a lot of wood, a lot of pine. So we kind of snowballed into Places in Pine, and it just sounds sketchy. I'm like, okay.
It sounds really
I love it. It does. It's a pleasant business name to say.
And it reminds you of like I remember when I saw it, you can see it and you like smell it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's an experience. It's like an experience.
That means so much.
And then your
it's
brand,
very romantic.
Thanks.
And then your brand is just like with the neutrals and then being like kind of like a bold, like playful font, but just like editorial still. It's just like It would never have known that only.
Okay, I gotta bring your Instagram up now that we're talking about this, because I want people to see your work and how beautiful it is.
Thank you. I've got a lot of stuff coming for Christmas. So in 2022, gosh, I'm like forgetting what year it is.
I know, it's okay.
I'm hoping to roll out a full Etsy shop in correlation with Custom Pine. I'd like to sell stuff while also taking custom orders. I'm trying to make that kind of a shift.
Yes.
And so it's just for Christmas, we're doing, I say me, are doing more like Christmas gift oriented type stuff. So I'm excited to. Oh, if
you
see
do hangers too?
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's cute.
That ornament, the ornaments right there. If you want to click on that one in the middle, those will be some returning Christmas gifts. I think I did like 300, some crazy number of those last year. So they were so popular. I'm bringing them back.
They're so beautiful. I love these. Oh my gosh. Your work is so beautiful. It's just.
Thank you so much.
It's very well done.
I appreciate that. Oh, that was my that first post there. That was my bridal shower and the invitations for that.
Oh, I love the passport.
Oh, I love that so much.
My mom threw me a adventure themed bridal shower. It was perfect.
That's so cute.
Oh my gosh. I love that.
Oh, is that a recipe on there?
Yeah. Yes, that is someone, or actually those two are my grandmother, my great-grandmother's recipes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. So I made a bunch of those last year too. I haven't decided I haven't decided if I'm bringing them back
from Southern Illinois.
Yes.
Okay. All right. You got the white pie on there. I see you, girl.
I love
it's not Burton's,
it's so beautiful.
Nothing's Burton's, but everything's a little close.
No.
Close enough.
Oh my gosh. So beautiful. I'm obsessed.
I love it.
I look through your stuff, but I don't know, just more fun when you're looking at it on, with people on a live stream, and I love this one. Your reels are top notch, Taylor.
Thank you. That means so much. The reels are intimidating. Everybody that's a business owner kind of knows that. It's like just something we're all figuring out collectively, I think.
Yeah.
But they're fun, I will say. They're really fun for me.
They are. I love these. These are so cute. And I love this.
Thank you. I love birthday parties. They're my favorite, honestly. I shouldn't say that because weddings are the best, but birthday parties are so fun.
Sorry, I just talked over you.
Oh, no, you're good.
I just had a thought and I was like, I gotta say it right now. Wait, so Drew is a sweet one.
Yes.
Does the client come to you with the theme idea, or do you kind of just sit there and you're like, okay, here's some cute theme ideas that I've done before?
It just depends on the client, honestly. Everybody is different. I've had some clients, that one in particular, she had kind of an idea of the peach thing in mind already, but I do have some people that are just like, hey, Taylor, got a second birthday party, because first birthday parties are like the staple, the one you go all out for. Second birthday parties are kind of like, okay, I had the big one last year, now what do I do? So a lot of those I kind of, pitch out some theme ideas and try to give people some, people give me creative freedom, which is a lot of fun. I think those are
I love that. Creative freedom is so liberating. I mean, okay. And so let's talk about your newest post you made.
Love it.
Notepads. You are releasing your own collection of notepads with your brand.
Yes. So a lot of things, I made a post back in July. A lot of things I want to get back to is with Places in Pine, it's been great, but you're designing a lot for other people. There's some, and Brittany too, when you start on a project, sometimes it kind of gets transformed into something you necessarily wouldn't pick,
Yeah.
but they feel
Yeah.
it's best for the client, and, you know, some of that sort. So I'm kind of thinking, like, how do I take back some of the burnout? And I think part of it for me was designing for myself. So that's where I
Yes.
have the most, you know, the most fun. It's playing around and stuff. And so with the new shop that's going to be opening, I really want to make it a big thing to be designing for myself. So part of that is the collection. Those notepads are my style. They're in my kind of lingo, and they were a lot of fun. So they'll be
I
custom.
love that.
Yeah, they'll be custom. Some of them will be custom. Some of them will be just kind of, you know, your average stationery type deal, and other things along with that. But I'm excited to be
I
designing for
can't wait to
myself.
see what you create.
Are
Oh my
they
gosh. So
printable, or are they like, do I get a physical notebook if I buy them from you?
What'd you say? I
Are
didn't
they
hear.
gonna be like a printable link, or like, do I get the
You get the real thing.
Oh.
Yes, you get the real thing. And so there's one on the bottom there, the top of it, like I was talking about, some of them are in my lingo. The top of it says, "Let's get it, sis." And it's just like a day planner kind of thing. And those will be
I love
pre-made
it.
and shipped ready to order. But the ones
Right.
that have your name on them, those will be custom made. So there will be a little bit of a wait time on those. But yeah, you get the physical thing. I do have
I love
digital
that.
downloads for some stuff, but for the most part, it'll be physical products.
Cute.
I
Cute.
love that so much. So if you're watching, make sure you go and follow Places in Pine on
Yeah.
Instagram and on Facebook. I have her links tagged in the comments. So make sure you're checking her work out, because she does absolutely amazing stuff, clearly with your whole heart too. And I always love that when a designer puts their whole heart into everything. So all of this to say, I know one of the things we said we're going to talk about is the do's and don'ts of working with a designer, because as we're going through our journey, we learn a lot.
Yes,
You know,
absolutely.
we learn so much, you know, and we learn how we want to be treated too as a designer as well. You know, I know that the popular, you know, saying is the customer's always right, but when they come to us, you know, needing our services, like, we are the experts in what we do, and we do the best that we can to guide them. But I know you had some points you wanted to talk about. So Taylor, I'm going to let you take the wheel in this one.
Yeah, just to kind of go off that, there's something that I saw on Instagram a couple years back, and it was like, you know, you wouldn't hire someone who works plumbing to do your electricity, like rewire your electricity in your home. You know,
Yeah.
you hire an electrician who knows what they're doing. You trust them. You trust that they're going to do a good job. And really, it's the same thing with design. You know, we go to school for this. We have the eye for it. Hopefully, we're talented and have the ability to lead you in the right direction. And for the most part, you know, I think just kind of listening to that, taking advice, like you said, Brittany, we are marketers too a lot of times, and we know how to guide you in the best way for your type of business. We've worked a lot and seen what's successful and what's not, and I think sharing that a lot of times is helpful to listen to that feedback and kind of, you know, apply it to your business. So I like scratched down some pointers.
Oh, I love scratch down thoughts.
Scratch down some thoughts.
Okay.
But I think we'll talk about the do's first, because the don't, you know, can get a little sassy maybe. So
I love
no,
sassy.
I'm kidding. The do's though, like, I think it's great to have a solid idea of what you're wanting for the most part, your end goal. So, you know, not necessarily coming to a designer and saying, I want this specific logo made, but having an overall goal of, I want a branding that really speaks to, you know, my passion, that speaks to, you know, something so-and-so specifically. And that helps kind of guide us. I think a lot of times, I know my experience, I don't know about yours, Brittany, a lot of times in my experience, I'm like, just at the end of the day, sometimes I'm thinking, I'm not a mind reader, guys. You got to tell
Mm,
me. Like, I
mm.
can't read your mind. I don't know. So I think just clear communication on, what you're looking for specifically. And a lot of times people, this is a don't, a lot of times people will hire a designer and they're like, I trust you, you do your thing. So, we do our thing. And then they
Yeah.
come back and they're like, well, I don't know about that. I was kind of thinking more this. And it's like, you should have told me that from the beginning. So it's kind of,
Yes.
yeah, it's kind of like, form an overall like idea. And I think that's great about what you do also with your studio, kind of being able to meet with clients. And it's important that first meeting to really get everything that you want out on the table. So that way
Mm.
we have all the tools to be able to do the best job for you. And that's most important, I would say.
Oh, I
Um,
love that. I love
Yeah.
it. And can I add, and please forgive me if you have this written down, but sometimes businesses are not ready for that level yet.
yes.
You
Oh,
Right.
know,
absolutely.
sometimes they still like,
Yeah.
sometimes the designer is actually there for the level up and not
Yeah.
for the level, because the level, the ground floor of your business, you're finding out if there's a place for you in the market.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
sometimes that means you don't have a logo yet that's iconic, or that's, recognizable. You don't have the flashy website yet. Like you have your basics, you have your social media, and you're just seeing if people are interested. If there's proof,
Yeah,
if
absolutely.
there's proof that your business is going to succeed before you invest that money into the branding aspect.
Totally. You're 100% right. There's a lot of people that um which I appreciate the overly ambitious, but I've had a few clients, especially in the beginning when I didn't know how to recognize them as easy. You have a lot of clients that are just like, they thought of this idea yesterday and they're
Mm-hmm.
rolling with it. They're ready to get it started. And those are definitely the kind of clients, like you said, that you just had to take a step back and really kind of figure out what you're wanting. You can't sit on it for too long,
Yeah.
because you end up not going anywhere. But it is true. You have to know clearly, if it's going to work first, and then go from
Yeah.
there, for
I
sure.
I
Because
don't think a logo should be the first investment that
Right.
you make as a
Yes.
business owner. And I
Yeah.
see that very often because
Yes,
it's like
absolutely. People just straight off, they're like, I got this awesome idea. I need a logo.
yeah,
It's like,
if
no, no, don't
if
start
there's
there yet.
anything that should come before the logo, and this is just from my experience designing, is a branded photo shoot.
Oh, yes.
You
Yeah.
should do a photo
I
shoot,
would get on board with
then
that.
your logo. You should spend the money on photos, then come
Yeah.
with me with your photos so I see
Yes.
your mood and your vibe and all that actualized in like a neat
Yeah,
little package.
absolutely. To go
Obviously not your products, but
Right. To
like, you know
go
what I mean? Like
off
a
of
cute
that,
headshot.
though, like, you really have to your business idea is gonna change so much,
Yeah.
as you're growing,
Yes.
as you're
Mhm.
evolving. I do so many rebrands because people, like you
Mm.
said, Casey, they get that logo first thing, and then they're just like, "Oh, this doesn't really represent who I am
Mm.
anymore, what I do. I don't think it, just backs my company as much." And you're right. The setting the tone and getting those photos and just kind of having a better idea of what you're going to be doing day to day and
Yeah.
stuff it will help a lot more with your
And
overall image.
traditionally, designers didn't have to be marketers
Right.
because you came with me with data.
Yeah.
So it's like if you could hire a marketing firm to have all this data to be like, okay, my target audience really wants pink here. Like they just really resonate with pink. And I'm like, great, I'll put pink in there.
Right.
You have to come with me with some sort of numbers because I can't make those numbers for you
Sure.
because that's not what I do.
Yeah.
You
True.
don't have the means to do it.
Yeah.
And
And
I'm not going to put a control group together. And if you
yeah.
didn't figure that out on your own when you were paying
Yeah.
attention to people coming into your store or buying from your thing, honey, I can't. I don't have the means.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. That comes back to the mind reading part.
Yes.
You just don't you're not in their shoes. you can't necessarily pull all that information from them. And it is, it's tricky sometimes, but I think, you know, as the client, you know, we get that you're eager to get this started. You know, everyone is. It's an exciting time to be, you know, starting a business and going through with it. It's just the appropriate steps have to be taken, and I think you'll be better for it in the end, especially.
Yes, absolutely. We did get a comment from Melanie Pickett. In full disclosure, she is our mother, and she says, "Great tips, ladies. I'm writing all down. Not sure where I'll use it at, but ready for it just in case."
Let's hope she doesn't write it wherever she put her passwords.
She'll lose it. Oh,
I love that.
okay.
Those are those people always end up being the best clients too. The open-minded, ready to, you know, take advice. You go, Melanie.
That's Melanie. Yes, you go. So yes, that do/don't was spot on, Taylor. I absolutely agree with you on that.
Yeah. To go off of, so another one that I have is, which this kind of ties into it. People want to go from 0 to 100 so fast, and branding takes time, a lot of time. You know, especially creating a logo. I don't know about you, Brittany, but sometimes it takes me weeks to sit on something. You know, we have creative minds, but we're not always in the right space for it, and it takes some time to be able to sit on it. Like, ideas come to me in the middle of the night when I'm walking my dog, you know, it just randomly. So to be able to give your designer the time to really formulate what you're needing, you're going to get better work almost every time than rushed work, because
absolutely
rushed work, nobody wants to be doing that. It creates so much stress, and you know, you're not getting the most bang for your buck. So
and typically it's not billable time too. Whenever I'm just like walking my dog thinking about it, I don't just like put it in. So like, give me that time to do all this unbillable work.
Right.
Unpaid work.
Lots of unpaid manpower, you know, because it's not like you can clock in and clock out of it.
Right.
Not an idea factory.
Yeah. Another thing is just being realistic with what you're wanting and what you're going to get. You know, we're not like, we ain't going to create you a multi-million-dollar like industry just like by, you know, like that. Like logos and branding is a huge and the most important part, you know, of your business and how you carry it. But, you know, having those realistic expectations that we're people too, you know, we're creative and we're trying to help you out the best way you can. So I think that, you know, just going into every kind of situation with an open mind about the designs you're going to get, you're going to be so much more stoked about them. Because, you know, if you're looking for something too specific or too, you know, something, I don't know, again, with the mind reading thing, you just don't know. If you go in with something too complicated, you know, just don't set yourself up to be disappointed with that. And, you know, we really are presenting you with our best work every time. We're really trying to, you know, help you out. That's part of the reason, you know, that's mainly the whole reason that I do what I do. I like to make people feel like, you know, they've got that extra oomph in them. They're excited. They're ready to take this to the next level. They're passionate about it. And just contributing to that success for them is an amazing feeling. So, you know, just be realistic with what, you know, the expectations you set for your designer. And
absolutely
goes a long way.
And I have to add, because this happens, your designer does not do your product research.
Yes.
Your designer does not decide what kind of bottles you need to use. Like, there's a lot of things you need to research before you come to your designer, because otherwise your designer is literally doing everything for you. They're basically doing your entire company for you. And that's stuff that we need you to know, because if you come back later and say, well, I didn't like that, you picked that out, you know, that's a disservice. Like, you know, there's a lot of work that has to go mutually, you know, but there's a lot of work you have to come with already done, all this research already done.
Absolutely.
And that's when
I have
people
had
hire product launch experts and things like that too. It's like, if you
Yeah.
don't have time to carry all that on your shoulders, you probably don't have time to be a business owner. If you can't
Yes.
afford to outsource those things, then you probably can't afford to be a business owner.
Right.
You
And
either
that's
have to have the
specific.
time or you have to have the money. If you don't have
Absolutely.
either of those
Yeah.
things, honey, I'm so sorry, you're gonna have to wait.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah. I've gotten caught in that a few times of,
Mm.
Someone is so brand new and
Yeah.
you're really trying to help them. And then you have to take a step back and you're like, whoa, I'm taking on 10 roles here.
Yep.
I'm not getting paid for 10 roles. I
Yeah.
need to kind of reel it in a little bit. Yeah, you're totally right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that we're in like this really double-edged sword, cute little like hustle culture moment.
Yes.
And like, I think that that's a lot of fun and I'm having fun. But at the same time, it's like not everyone is ready to do this right now where they are in their life.
Yeah.
Like hustling isn't going to be how you get that much money. You're going to have to like save up the money, then
Yes.
get more money.
Yeah.
You
The
know,
whole
like,
the hustle culture is real right now.
yeah.
It is so, and it's intimidating as a business owner. You always feel like you're doing more. You feel like you're not living up to those expectations that other people are setting. You just kind of have to. Sometimes I have to remove myself from it all, and I'm like, okay, you're doing the best you can. You're taking one day at a time. So
yeah, it's weird.
Absolutely.
I feel like it's making a lot of people who don't have the time or resources to actually do a business well, feel as though that this is a natural next step for them.
Definitely.
And it's not.
Yeah,
I don't know what else to say.
And we can talk about the TikTok culture too, with blowing up businesses right now. Some people just aren't ready for that, and it is the struggle is real there. You're getting influxes of orders, and you haven't taken your baby steps yet. And
exactly
the hustle culture, that's an interesting topic for sure.
It is. It's weird.
I will just add before we go on to your next do or don't.
Okay.
I don't want to go viral.
Yeah. Oh, me too.
I don't want it. I just want to be likable and I want to resonate with people, but I don't want to go viral. I'm not ready for that. I look at my emails and I have like boom, 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 and I'm like, that's a lot. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, what if it was like
Yeah. No, I talk about that with my friends too. And I'm going to bring up Courtney again from Boulder Creek. She is amazing at posting reels. And I mean, she is like nose to the grindstone all the time. And she's always like, Taylor, you need to post this. And I'm like, Courtney, I can't. I'm scared. I'm scared because I just don't. Like, I'm very busy right now. I've gotten to the point where I'm turning away weddings, and I'm like, I just don't. If I'm viral, I'm screwed. I can't be doing it. I don't know. I will combust. Like baby steps.
Yes,
for sure.
Absolutely. You'll go viral next year.
Yeah. We'll
go viral
think about it. That's too funny. Let's see. My next do. I've got, here's a good one. So make sure you do your research on your designer. I think that it's important to, everyone is scared to kind of reach out and talk at first, but I think really having a conversation with the person you're interested in hiring is great. Not only for you, but it's great for us as designers too, because we can instantly tell if we're going to fit or not. And, it is harder to work on something that you're not particularly in the right headspace about. I think that being able to click with your designer, click with your client is really important. You're not going to come to someone who primarily designs racing logos and things for, let's say NASCAR, and you're going to come to them and ask them to brand, a logo for your baby shower. Like that, it's just, you got to do your research, figure out what kind of work that people do primarily. And not that we don't like the good challenge every now and then, but I think it's good to find someone that fits your aesthetic and can really deliver what you're looking for.
Absolutely. And actually, we got a comment here real quick. Ashley Dotson, she says, heck yes. Ashley graduated with me, and she's a very talented designer out in Arizona. So Ashley's amazing. Yes, Ashley. Thank you so much for commenting. That makes my night. Ashley,
I love it.
She does really cool stuff. I love what she does. But yes, exactly that about the research.
You'd think it'd be obvious, but it's so not. And I think that what's crazy is like you deliver something that's clearly in like the style that you guys communicated.
Yeah.
But they still had something different in their head, which like, okay, that's going to happen. Like, this is life. I literally cannot scan what is in your brain. This is like the theme of the night. I can't read your mind.
Yes.
But it's like, this is literally then they give you reference images to like different artist styles. And it's like, okay, this really isn't my style.
Yeah.
This literally is not my style.
Totally.
Or, you know, me and Brittany's style at all. And so it's like, I don't know what you expect.
Yeah, right. And it's like, don't take personal offense to that. If a designer turns you away, it's because we want to give you the most for your experience. And if we're turning you away, it's not because we don't want to work with you. It's because we don't think we can deliver exactly what you're looking for. And, you know, to be able to understand that is just, you know, it's going to set you on the right path to someone else who will deliver what you're looking for.
Yeah,
absolutely. Oh, Ashley just said, you're too sweet. Keep rocking, ladies. Designers are the best. And then she spell checked herself. LOL, you're. Thanks, Ashley. Designers are the best. You know, lately, that has been something that I have found myself doing more of, is referring people to other designers. Yes. You know, I'm lucky to be in really good little pockets of design communities where if someone does come to me and it's like, actually, that's not something I feel comfortable doing, or it's not something I'm trying to do, or actually that's just not my niche, then I can throw it out, you know, to my designer friends and connections and be like, hey, does anyone do this? And almost always there's someone who's like, oh, that's my specialty. And they're so excited. And you're like, oh, how awesome is it to have a designer who is so like giddy to work on your project?
Yes, that's that is amazing. It's just like, you know, out of school, everyone finds their niche. Designers, you know, same situation. You're really kind of specializing in stuff that you either fall interested in or stuff that you don't just kind of, you find yourself being extra talented with. And it's important to be able to recognize those strengths and, you know, and those strengths in other people. You know, you are an amazing brand coach and you guys do amazing stuff. That is not something I do. Like, I refer people to you. I'm like, I have this friend, Brittany, and she can help you out. It's not necessarily something that I do. So being able to recognize that and, like you said, have a little pocket of designer friends that you can send them to is awesome. It's a great way to build up the community too and help your peers. So
absolutely. Well, there's like I don't use stationery.
Yeah. I feel like people really, really like, they'll have a conversation with you, they'll like fall in love with you because I mean, like, we're lovely. And then you get to the point in the conversation where it's like, okay, like, this project is just not going to work. We don't have enough time. You know, whatever the problem is. I mean, there's so many factors that could make it a problem.
Yeah.
But whatever the answer is of just being like, this is just not going to fit. You're not going to be happy. I'm not going to be happy. This is going to be a disaster.
Yeah.
You know, it's not that dramatic, but like for me, sometimes.
Sometimes it's that dramatic.
You know? Like, I'm just like, I can't do yellow.
Yeah.
Like, you have that conversation with them and it's like, there's a moment where they feel like they're being disloyal by taking the advice that, okay, this just doesn't work. And then they're like, oh no, we can do it for this time frame, or we can do it for this, or I'll just move around my entire life to fit you. And then they put you in a spot to where it's like, I guess I have to say yes here. But that is the biggest red flag moment of your life. If your belly tells you no, honey, stick to your no. Stick to your no. And if a designer's telling you it's not going to work, don't try to fit. don't try to fit.
Totally.
Just move on. It's okay.
Yeah. And, you know, it's just kind of being able to recognize that as a client too. You know, I had, remind me of her name, Brittany. She owns DeFleur in Carterville.
Oh, Lindsay?
No,
yeah. Sorry, you said the florist in Carterville. De La Fleur. Yes, Denise.
Yes. I
Denise,
had such a fantastic conversation with Denise. She had reached out to me, you know, over the summer, and she had got my phone number from another client of mine, and you know, word of mouth is the best, especially Southern Illinois. But she had called me and she's like, "Hey, do you have a second to chat?" I'm like, "Absolutely." We talked for probably an hour, you know, and those conversations are always great, because it gives, you know, it just gives them a little bit of heads up as to what to look for. I think a lot of times people have this idea of what talking to a designer is going to be like, and then after they hang up the phone, they're like, "Oh, that conversation went so different." Like, there's just a lot more insight, I think, that we can give. Like you said, with the marketing and stuff, there's a lot more advice that we can give out than what people are necessarily expecting. So that conversation, you know, we talked for like an hour, and I'm like, "I just don't think I'm, you know, necessarily the right fit for you at this, you know, at this time and for what you're wanting." So I referred her to you, and now like you guys are doing amazing. You guys have an awesome relationship. I love that.
Thank you. She's the sweetest, and her business is incredible. If anyone watching has not checked out De La Fleur, it's DeLoufleur. She does custom furniture design with name brand furniture lines, and it's absolutely gorgeous.
That's very cool.
But yes, and I appreciate that so much because, you know, that was something unexpected, and it's been a fantastic, you know, working relationship. But okay, a red flag is when a designer doesn't want to connect with other designers, or creatives don't want to connect with other creatives. Like, do not silo yourself. You are not like this. I don't even know like how to explain, but like your life is so much better when you connect with other creatives, because one, you can't do everything. We actually talked about this with Courtney.
Yeah, we did talk about that with
What
Courtney.
did you say, Casey? What did you say?
I said, what, like, to those kinds of people, I wasn't saying this to Courtney because she vibes with this, but I was like, what if you had this moment where you're like, that's it. I'm the only, we'll say, graphic designer in Southern Illinois. And no one can get anything designed unless I'm the one who designs it. And I don't get to take any day off work because I'm so busy designing everything for everybody.
No way.
No one's able to do anything without me, and this is paradise.
Yes. Everyone has lives. Everyone gets, you know, like the creative burnout is real at some points too. There's just some stuff, you know, you don't necessarily have the headspace to take on, and to have those people in your group to refer to, and for people just to be like open to,
and not like just nice and understanding. Like doctors don't do that. Doctors don't try to edge out other doctors of being doctors.
Absolutely.
They just like go grab a beer and have a good time in their doctor world.
Like one of the like main things I have learned like in my adult life is that you never know who is going to give you an opportunity. So, you know, it can come from anyone, and it can be the person you least expect too. And, you know, so many roads lead into different ones, and turning down something just because you have a certain idea in your mind is just not my way of doing things, but it is kind of good just to have those people in your circle for sure.
Absolutely. Oh, Kelsey Kettenbreaker just commented, Taylor is the best and such a lifesaver. We love Kelsey of Cat Films. Check out Cat Films. Katt Films. She's amazing.
She's the best I know. She's a great videographer. I feel bad.
She is
I love
amazing.
Her so much.
Her work is so beautiful. It's just she really knows how to tell the story of a wedding day from like, and so what I love is like every wedding video is gonna be different. Like it's so different because every wedding's different, and she just does a great job of showing that in her work. So thank you for commenting, Kelsey.
Yeah, I'm working on branding her wedding this week, so excited.
Oh,
She's
I
having
can't wait to see what you do.
she's having such a lovely, cute, small wedding, and she's got amazing fall colors. It's exciting for sure.
That's
I
cool.
can't wait to see
pictures.
this.
Yeah,
I know, I'm
So-
excited. Kelsey's amazing.
she is amazing. So I've got I've pretty much covered all of my dues. I mean, there's so many, but those are the main
The main ones, the important ones.
for the most part. I think like my biggest don't is valuing the time over or valuing the money over the time kind of thing. Because
yeah.
you don't want to, while having a budget is realistic and, especially up front, knowing exactly what you can work with and what you can't, that's very, very important. But I think that going into it and saying, okay, I'm going to give you this much money and you're going to give me this, that's just not the way that designers work. A lot of times you do find yourself, like we were talking about, taking on the role of doing other things.
Yeah.
And that's, that is going to be, a little pricier. So I think that going into it with a mentality of these people work for, this is their job, this is their money, this is their income, this isn't just something you're going to grab off of Pfizer and roll with. So I think a lot of people, especially in our area with design not being a big scene here, I think that a lot of people miscommunicate how important it is to pay for good design. And, you go to the city and, we always, especially, I don't know about you, Brittany, but we had projects in school and like some people are like, tell you what they get paid for it. And you're like, oh my gosh, because, here you're working for like pennies compared to that.
Yeah.
So finding
Absolutely.
your worth, finding your worth as a designer and charging that worth, it should be a very respected thing. And you should always, if you can't afford it, that's fine. We are not, like I said, you're never going to turn away someone because we don't want to work with you. It's just because we're not the correct fit at that moment. And so just, kind of being conscious of that.
I think that's
absolutely. We got a comment here from Michelle Searles. I saw her peach invitations and I don't care what it costs.
Oh.
And Michelle graduated from the graphic design program at SIU.
Oh, amazing.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yes, Michelle, fellow designer ladies. She's amazing. So Michelle, you know who your person is for that kind of work. Taylor does amazing work. Oh my gosh, if you did some work with Rendleman Orchards, my mind would explode.
So
I have worked with Rendleman Orchards. I did.
Oh yeah.
Actually, me and Lindsay of Deliciously Ordinary, she did an amazing installment over the summer. And honestly, I need to check if it's still up. But I did, 10 installments, which were.
Okay, then we saw those.
Yes. Yeah. Some of them had like 4 signs. Some of them had, which I don't have those on my Instagram because I never did get. I need to talk to someone to get some photos. Because I would love to show those off. Lindsay had an amazing vision, and I love working with Lindsay because we vibe so well with ideas, and she would just come to me and be like, hey, so pink, bright bubblegum Dolly Parton pink on a blue truck, how do you feel? I'm like, let's do it. So
I love that.
I worked with them. Yeah, the Hey Dude sign. Yeah.
That's cool.
I love that.
That was some of my favorite signs I've ever done. They were so, doing different stuff and really getting to use your full creative potential. That's so great. I love it.
That is, working with Michelle is always the best. I love her. Yeah. I could go on about Michelle all day. She is not a don't, just so you know. Michelle is always a do. I love it. Okay. But yes, that don't absolutely agree with 100%. Here's the reality. Do you truly want free work?
Yes.
You know what I mean? As you as a client, you as a client, do you only always want your work to be for free? Like, are you really going to be happy with it? Do you have any ground to stand on if you don't like it? Do you have any room to negotiate? If you are getting free work all the time, where is the value in what you just had done? Where is the value in your business, in your product, in anything? If you always get free work, where is the value in anything you have to offer?
Yep. You got to spend money to make money. And, you know, representing yourself correctly is a huge, huge, huge part of it. If, you know, it is a red flag if you're not paying your worth for things that you're getting. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And I think that goes back to like the one where we were talking about how maybe branding isn't the right step for you right now if you can't afford what you want.
Totally.
Because it's easier just to like, I don't know, like type it out or something, like just something different until you can afford to get the branding that you want. Make sure that it's right for the audience that is responding to your products and responding to you. And
your audience may be completely different than you originally thought.
Right.
It usually is, isn't it?
Yeah. You know, there are times that I do talk to people and I will be honest, like I don't think you're, I don't think this is the right phase for you yet. And it's not like me, I don't want anyone to ever think it's me criticizing their business or, that like anything like that, because I don't want someone going in debt to have these things in their business. Like, I mean, if you want to do that, that is totally up to you. It's just for me personally and like my values, I want someone to be at a point where it's like, I have made money. I have proof in my business that it's needed, that it's wanted, that it, all these things. And therefore, it's not a huge leap for me to go to that next step for you, because I just don't want any, I don't want the investment in me to then cause a business to suffer financially because they weren't ready.
The bad taste, like we've said, we really want the best overall. And if that means turning down the money, I'm going to do that every time. If that's the right position to take, just because, and back to doing your research on your designer, it is a red flag if you have someone who's not going to ask you those questions, who is not going to, tell you the way that it is realistically. And if you, I understand a lot of, designers starting out too don't necessarily have the means to turn down the job. But, at the same time, I always kind of had the mentality, like, I'll make it work. Even if I can't, like, you'll just make it work, because you don't want to set somebody up for failure. And, then you're just creating a bad name overall for designers everywhere too. That's just one unsatisfied customer, and no one ever wants that.
No, absolutely not.
What is your guys' biggest pet peeves now that we're on the don'ts? What's the biggest?
Oh my goodness.
We talk about it freely here because, we don't specifically just.
I think my biggest pet peeve, and I've said this before, are people who haggle at checkout.
Yeah.
You would never do that to Walmart.
Yes, absolutely.
Don't do that to me.
That is rough.
If I tell you the price and you're like, you know what? Yeah, okay, that price. And then the day that you get the link to pay is the day you're like, oh, well, my whatever. Then, this thing happened and that thing happened. And it's like, you literally never intended on paying me, did you?
Yeah.
Like, this is just the way it was forever going to go. Or I think it's usually comes, for me, it's always payment is my biggest pet peeve, is people being weird with the money.
Yeah. Like, and then you have a client who pays you literally right after you send the invoice, and you're like, oh my gosh, this angel.
What is this?
I want the assignment.
I totally feel that. And 9 times out of 10, I will always work with you. I understand that it happens, things happen, but you need to be transparent with your designer. You need to explain the situation you're in and why. You can't ever expect anything for free. It's just not real. It's not realistic. And
it's not, because you want to get paid. Like, that person wants to make money. right?
Absolutely.
That's
And a
why
lot
they're
of
going into
times,
business.
yeah, especially with my business right now, a lot of times I'm investing quite a bit up front of my own money into your party or your, experience, and to have to wait longer for that, it's disappointing.
It's just rude.
Yeah.
It
It's just plain rude. Like, it's just like, and one more, if I can back to back my pet peeves.
Oh, go for it.
Go for it.
This is my favorite.
Sassy notes.
And this is a red flag that was learned this over time working in this stuff. If you talk bad about another creative,
Yes,
you will be bad to me.
That's a huge one.
Bad to me.
Yes.
Anytime I've worked with somebody and they've been like, oh, well, I tried working with so-and-so and they just didn't deliver on the thing. It's like, well, what did you do to so-and-so, honey?
Yeah.
What did you do? What did you not do? Because they're a good girl or a good guy. You know what I mean? We're all just trying our best.
People underestimate the relationships that you form with a creative. Like, I have every single client I have, honestly, I'm pretty good friends with, like they turn in, like I said, you never know what experience is going to lead into. And you become friends. Like, I have clients that live out of state now, and they, invite me to come stay on their family farms and like do weekend adventures. And it's like, the second you talk bad to me about someone else, I'm just like, that's a red flag. That's a huge red flag.
Oh yeah, that's a weird one that is in Southern Illinois. That's
yes, absolutely.
It's a weird one there because you'll see a lot of like brands do a start and stop.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, I'll be the one to start them again.
Yeah.
And then you like pick it up where they, left off or wherever they are, whatever happened with the past designer. And you think that like, you know what? I'm just going to be the only designer in Southern Illinois. I guess that's just it. And you go into that mentality. Well, it's a poor mentality to go into.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which is what helps you dismiss the red flags so quickly.
Yeah.
And then you go in and you're like, put the little backpack on and just try to hike through with them. And they will always ruin that relationship. Always. And every time. And if you go reach out to those creatives that they were like, oh, so-and-so just really whatever, they're always like, they said that about me?
Yeah.
And those are the people that I'm just like, we should put them on a list. We should put them on a list. We should have to. Yes, those are my show. Okay, you go.
Yeah, those are pretty solid. I'm like over here, like, geez, I have a good hefty list of pet peeves. I would say, for me, the timeliness. In projects and people ready to do something, but they don't have all the assets ready or they don't have all these things ready. And so you've already blocked off this whole thing in your calendar and their date is here to give you the things so you can move forward in a timely manner and they don't. And then you hear all the reasons why, and you've already, maybe they've already bought their slot and you've already invested time into them. And, for me, this has happened and things are going to shift and be different for me next year. I've learned a lot of lessons in that. But then, calendars, like times start colliding, because this person didn't get you all these things for their slot, but you have this other slot coming up and now it's like a domino effect. And even though you adequately provided enough time for everything, this has now literally destroyed the rest of your year.
And you tell people no too over it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And so sometimes things, it's like, okay, well now you've shifted my calendar. So now I'm actually going to have to put you on pause because now I have to continue with this committed slot.
Yes.
And that's,
And I will say this leads into a great point. So just because I think a lot of times clients and people view the creative work as something on the back burner for them, like they have full-time jobs, they work every day. So then when they get downtime, they're thinking, oh, I need to work on this. And that oftentimes leads into reaching out to us at crazy hours and, on the weekends or something. And it's like, your designers have lives too. So if we're not, you just be respectful of the time management for us too. We're just like hiring out in any other business. You would never, you make time for them, they don't make time for you. And if you're hiring that kind of service, it's really important just to be aware of, be just manners, being, just being good to them. And
I actually have another one.
go for it.
Okay.
I love them.
If I say, so like, say like it's me and you, Taylor, and we're like, let's say you're not a designer and I'm your designer.
Okay.
And you knew my number beforehand. You had my phone number. And you text me and we're just talking back and forth. And then we decide to go through the project on text. And I'm like, okay, just so you know, I need all of this to shift to my email.
Yes.
Absolutely. I don't want any text messages.
Yes.
From you. Honestly, I don't even want, like, even if like you're here to pick me up, I'd rather you email it to me that you'll be here in 5 minutes.
Yes.
Like I want it, like now it's like email thing. We're not on this friendly, cute text thing.
Yep.
Do not mix email and text when you're telling me like color decisions, font decisions, any of those things.
Right.
Don't. Just
yes.
Do not
that, and honestly, that a lot of times plays hand in hand too with, we live in an area where everyone knows each other. You're friendly, everyone is going to put in a good word for you for the most part. And, everyone feels like, especially with creatives, they're like, do you ever get this? They're like, oh, you're a graphic designer. My cousin's sister is a graphic designer. And you're like, like every creative situation ever, it's, oh, my grandma's sister is an artist. And, it is cool to relate to, but this is our job. And, just because we are friends or, we know each other from past situations and stuff, always have that etiquette when hiring someone for business. That is true. Just because we're texting and, just because we're being friendly with taking orders, there is a line between respecting that this is your friend's job and your friend, is trying to be successful. So when you're hiring them, you go through the process too. Yeah, that's very important.
Cool. And we're also like, this is a contract now. Like this isn't some obidobo, we're best friends anymore. This is a contract obligation. I have to provide you this service and you have to give me these things in order for me to do that. Absolutely. So it needs to be in an email, because if you send me to court, for some reason, I don't have to sift through texts and emails and all this other stuff. Yeah. One form of a communication protects both of us from hating each other.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And I will just add, there probably should be, but there's always an exception to a rule. There are people that like I have worked with where it's like we have texting and things like that because maybe it just worked for me in that moment too. So it is one of those things where it's like there may be exceptions to the rule, but if I do request that that we need to go in this way, then that just respecting those boundaries for us is really healthy, because I don't know about you, but sometimes we can get so there's some anxiety that comes with messages in multiple places. And then if you're on the go and you're living your life and then it's like, oh my gosh, I read that text, I don't know if I responded to it. And but maybe then they said something to you in email, and then it's like it can get a little murky. And just making sure that that just whatever that person requests, every designer is going to want to communicate differently, but just respecting that, I think is very important. But I think the other, I'm thinking about like my other pet peeves, if you will. I honestly feel like it comes down to I'm trying to think of a really good way to say this is is when you have a business and the fear of putting money out there for that thing that you want or need and not believing, and I don't want to sound all woo-woo or anything, but having that faith that whenever you do invest in something of value, that it will come back to you.
Yeah.
It will come back in form of sales or in form of relationships or communications. Because I will say the moment I started investing in my business and reaching out to people who had more knowledge and more wisdom or skill in something that I didn't have but I needed, the moment that I reached out to them and paid them for their service, like the first time I did it, it was like, oh my gosh, like it was scary. But then I got, I swear the money came back to me in other ways. And it was like, it gave me the confidence that, okay, I can start investing in myself, my business development, because I know that is going to come back to me in some form or fashion in my business, because I had the courage to do what needed to be done to move my business forward.
Yeah, that's incredible. Like, I mean, just being able to trust, like, again, with, you would not hire an electrician to do a plumber's job. Like, you trust the person you hire, their expertise. You just never know what advice somebody can give you. And, paying for a service that, we provide or something, we've put lots of time and blood, sweat into it. We are not going to disappoint you. I mean, you're paying for something that you're going, like you said, is going to come back to you for sure in other ways. Yeah.
Oh, and one more.
Yeah.
then I'll have to stop.
I love these.
But the other thing is, it always comes back to communication. But it's, if I'm giving you drafts of a logo, and it's not quite hitting the mark, you have to tell me. You have to tell me that's not hitting the mark. If I'm sending you things that are just not quite hitting the mark for you, like, I need concrete, like, okay, I like this, I don't like this, like, you have to communicate with me so that way we can keep moving forward. And that's something that I always stress when I talk to people, is like, I've been in design school. Like, I've had my work shredded in front of my peers. I can handle, like, don't be mean and hateful, but like, I can handle you saying, hey, this is a great start, but it's not quite what I'm looking for. I'm thinking a little more this. And having that communication very honestly is so important. And some people don't know how to do that, and I understand that. So, but if you're paying for something you want, like, you have to have the courage to tell your designer.
And honestly, you're just leading us both into wasting time, and that leaves a bad taste in everyone's mouth. You get annoyed, and you're just like, you feel frustrated. You're like, I don't know what else to do. I'm out of ideas. I'm out of sketches. I don't know what else, to do. I think that ties in great with the do's of knowing what you want overall, and being able to, like you said, effectively communicate what you're looking for, because the theme of our live is we're not mind readers. So
we're not mind readers. Our mom comments that, Casey, I think I've broken that text last message with my two designers. So I'm trying to be a better customer after this.
I got a message. I got a little doodaloo on LinkedIn, and it was my mom being like, hey, what's up?
Oh, I love that.
Like, there is not one social media she has not contacted me.
That is hilarious. I love that.
She has to show her love wherever we are, and I love that. That is great. But Taylor, do you have anything else you want to add on our do's and don'ts for tonight?
Cover it.
I think we've covered it. I mean, like I said, we'll just leave it with, like, if you're looking to hire somebody and you're in the means to start a business, to start, anything that you want to hire a creative for, don't be afraid to reach out to us. The first step is doing your research and seeing if someone is a good fit. And from there, it's just, it's exciting to start something new and make new relationships and be able to trust someone with helping you. And I think that just reaching out is the first step, and, talking to us, seeing what we can do for you.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And, now that you're aware of our do's and don'ts, I hope we put it all out there so that straight up, how how to work, and here's the thing is like I know Taylor's the same way. Like, we're nice people. We have, laid back personalities.
You didn't say Casey too.
Oh yes, Casey, obviously. I just assumed she's a package deal with me, so it's okay. But it's we're nice people. We just want to have those conversations and remove anxieties and make sure that we are the right fit for you, because your project does have value no matter what stage it's at, and we want to make sure that we're giving you the best value where whatever stage you're at. So it's not like you're not ready. It's you have an amazing opportunity to work your business without putting this amount of money up front, and that's an amazing spot to be in. So all that to say, like, there's no right or wrong or good or bad. It's just there's just certain stages when you do things, and we're here for you during it.
And that is something I struggled with in the very beginning, is being too nice. I'm a people pleaser through and through, and I still struggle with it, but it's just don't take advantage of people's kindness. They're just trying to help you.
Absolutely. Well, Taylor or Casey, do you have anything you want to add before we kept Taylor a long time tonight? Actually,
I literally have nothing else to add. I just appreciate being able to double dip my don'ts.
Double dip my don'ts.
I love that. We could have a whole part 2 on do's and don'ts, to be honest.
We really do.
Just a red flag.
Yes. Oh, red flag.
I would love that.
I think this is going to have to be an ongoing series, Taylor. I've absolutely loved chatting with you. I know I had the privilege of meeting you in person over the summer, and it was wonderful. So anyone who doesn't know Taylor, get to know her. Follow her social media. She's so inspiring. Michelle Searles says, I loved this one. Thank you so much, Michelle, for watching. Michelle. And then our mom said, LOL, you 3 ladies have done a fabulous job tonight. Keep up the great work. Thank you. But I'm just such a fan of you, Taylor, and I can't wait to continue watching your business grow and all the cool products you're going to make and dream up of, I'm a fan. We heart Taylor Corbitt in places.
Yeah, it's so nice meeting you. You're wonderful.
Yes, thank you. We will definitely have to grab some lunch. I love chatting with creatives. It's my favorite.
Absolutely.
Me too. All right. Well, I'm going to hit the end on this live. So, Taylor, thank you so much again. And everyone, thank you. Have a wonderful evening.
Yeah. Have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.